The Shield, G-Man Extraordinary. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air. Yet our flag and the shield stand so steadfastly there. The shield, G-Man Extraordinary, is as much a symbol of loyalty and patriotism as the American flag itself. What is the meaning of the shield? How did he come to acquire his superhuman powers? Why does he devote his life to the idea of our American government? This story is the answer. Our story begins in 1916 with Lieutenant Tom Higgins of the U.S. Army Intelligence in the office of his superior.
Ammunition is being loaded aboard one of the ships off the Jersey shore. You will supervise and be careful of sabotage.
Yes, sir.
Wiggins, who is also a scientist, makes immediately for his laboratory.
Hello, Dad. I've been mixing the sulfur and the pyridine just as you told me. I got a blue flame reaction.
Why, that means I've found the right mixture at last. My experiment is near completion. I've worked for years on this chemical. If it is absorbed in the proper parts of the body, it will make a superhuman being of an ordinary person. I'll have to postpone the experiment until this assignment.
Goodbye, Dad. I'll keep stirring the mixture.
Lieutenant Wiggins leaves for the ammunition barges Little, knowing he is never destined to finish his experiment. Too foreign-looking men picked up his trail, and on a lonely street.
Hey, let's take it now.
Suddenly, they attack.
What? Into the car? What happened?
Awake at last! Now we'll find out the missing formula.
Where am I?
When Lieutenant regains consciousness,
I'll never tell you the missing formula.
We kidnapped you, so that our agents can blow up the ammunition barges. But with this discovery we found on you will be of much greater importance to our government.
Lieutenant Wiggins makes a desperate break for liberty.
Then you die, Himmel.
Guess again. Out the window. I must go.
Don't let him escape. I've got to get to those ammunition barges before they can do any damage.
Lieutenant Wiggins soon arrives at the waterfront.
I'll have to use this rowboat.
Hey, you can't.
Tell it to the Marines.
As Lieutenant Wiggins, nearest the barges, sees
Those fellows jumping off the barge must be despised. That means
Lieutenant Wiggins arrives too late, and his own craft is blasted to splinters by the traffic explosion. The exploding ammunition hits the Arthur ammunition barge, and a second catastrophe follows. Later, the newspaper hit the street.
Extra, extra! Read all about the Black Tom explosion. Lieutenant Higgins' failure to carry out orders blamed.
In the hospital, mortally wounded, Lieutenant Wiggins calls for his son and his best friend, J.E. Hoover.
Yes, Dad, I believe you.
Me too, Tom.
Tom Wiggins asked his son to bend clothes and gasps out.
Anatomy formula. Shield. Carry on, Joe.
Don't die, Dad. Please.
He's dead, Joe.
He served his country, and so will I. I'll clear his name if it's the last thing I do.
Young Joe Wiggins, his resolution firmly cemented in his heart, devote himself to the study of chemistry.
You were wrong on that equation, sir. It's 2CASO42H2O.
What?
Joe knows more chemistry than the professor.
You ought to go home and rest, Higgins. You are being in the lab day and night.
Right after this experiment, sir.
Years later,
the university proudly presents this Doctor of Philosophy degree. Upon the most brilliant chemistry student, it has been our privilege to graduate Mr. Joe Higgins.
Thank you.
Joe is still laboring to complete his father's experiment.
I've got everything except the anatomical formula. Shield, what could Dad have meant?
One day, Joe rummages through a medical book and discovers.
Here's a picture of the human body. The great ghosts. Can it be? It must be. SHIELD. I've got it.
Joe hurries back to his laboratory and dons a fibrometallic suit, an invention of his own.
This skin-tight suit will help my pores absorb this chemical. Now for that medical book again.
What Joe saw in the medical book.
S. Sacrum. H. Heart. I. Intervention. E. Eyes. L. Lung. D. Derma. Sacrum, the spinal center of the body, thought by ancients to be the seat of the soul. Heart, pump of the body. Intervention, or nerve supply, control of this bodily function will endue an individual with tremendous nervous energy, making him tireless and immune to shock, an individual with the strength of 100 men. I, power of great sight. Lungs, control of respiration. Derma, the skin covering of the body, which the chemical makes impenetrable.
The secret of the shield revealed.
I rubbed the chemical on the parts of my anatomy. The formula calls for. Now we must lie perfectly still for 12 hours, and let the fluoroscopic rays force the chemical into the organs of my body.
Joe fastens himself to the table as fluoroscopic rays pour down on his body.
Fate has decreed it. These are the colors of my country, on these shield-like suits, and a shield I'll be against its enemies. The stars I've painted on will be symbol of my creed, truth, courage, patriotism, and justice.
The shield is born. And now for the realization of his father's dream. Or death.
2,000 degrees of heat, and I still don't feel it. Here goes the next test.
And once again the shield defies death.
I had these moving steel walls especially built to test my strength. Oh wow, the results are way beyond Dad's wildest dreams.
Look, Benny, a suicide.
This will be the final test. I'm a little hungry anyway. Cup of coffee, please.
It must be my indigestion.
While this is happening, the FBI speaks.
You are the federal district attorney. Can't you prosecute this German spy ring?
You gotta understand, there isn't enough evidence.
4 years. I've worked to clear Tom Higgins' name from the Black Tom scandal. I am convinced that Hans Fritz was the espionage agent responsible for that explosion.
Suddenly, a weird figure burst into the office.
I heard what you just said.
It's fantastic.
Who are you?
I don't mind telling you, but nobody else.
I can take a hint. I'll go.
The shield quickly donned civilian clothing.
Remember me now.
Joe Huggins. What now?
I've worked out my father's formula. I want you to make me a special deputy. I'll get this Hans Fritz.
How are you going to get him?
He's going to come to me, if it's the same spy. He has my father's sulfopyridine formula. All he needs is the atomic formula. I'll see to it that he knows I've got it.
A few days later, Hans Fritz sees an obscure notice in the newspaper.
Look, it must be Lieutenant Higgins' son. And he has the missing anatomical formula.
One of the country's foremost chemists, Joseph Higgins, Ph.D., has submitted his annual report to the Chemist's Journal. Dr. Higgins has devoted his many years to experiments begun by his father, but without any great success. First part of the formula was lost, and Dr. Higgins has been unable to match it with the second part, which he has in his possession.
Tonight we get the anatomical formula for the fatherland. Deutschland über alles.
That night,
This is Higgins' room. We'll make quick work of him.
suddenly,
I've been expecting you boys.
Ich du lieber.
Alright, now, start talking. Where does Hans Fritz hang out?
I'll never tell.
Okay, then. Wait here on this hook, while I entertain your friend.
Don't.
meanwhile, the other spy attacks from behind.
This fixes you.
The shield turns on his attacker.
Do you want a piece of this?
You are a demon.
You need a little air.
He hoists him out the window
Wait for me.
and leap after him. The shield lands before the spy and
Ready to talk now, or do you want another ride?
No, Fritz is at 23rd Maple Street.
as the shield proceeds immediately to Maple Street.
I must warn Fritz of this demon.
Hans Fritz is warned of the shield approach.
What? He is dressed in a shield. He must have worked out the formula. We've been tricked.
Before Fritz can make a hasty departure,
Hello, going somewhere?
Himmel, it's him. It's the shield. What do you want?
I want a full confection from you about the Black Tom explosion in 1916.
Fritz's hand finds a hidden button and releases a trap door beneath his feet.
Stupid American swine! You can't outwit Hans, Fritz!
Hey! I don't need any button to open this trapdoor.
The shield runs along an underground passageway.
He's gone, but not for long.
The spy reaches a secret hangar.
The shield will never catch me now!
That's using my head. Oh, there he goes in that plane.
The shield hurtles upward, as though propelled by giant springs.
Made it.
The shield made his way to the plane's propeller.
And now, for some fun. Hey there, Fritz. How about the confession?
We both die first.
The shield stops the plane's propeller with his bare hands.
Okay, have it your own way.
The plane plummets downward to certain destruction.
Stop, I'll confess.
I thought you'd see things my way.
Fritz signs the confession.
See how easy it was. I'm through with you, but the police aren't.
To the local police station.
Here's the ringleader, Chief.
Good, now we can get the rest of the gang.
Here's Fritz's confession, clearing my father's name. The whole spy ring has been rounded up.
It's amazing.
We need men like you in the service, but you'll have to pass examination like everybody else.
I'm your man.
And this is only a sample of what is to follow. There never has been a more potent force for justice in the histories of the world than the shield, performing legendary feats of strength, immune to the greatest of men-knowing shocks and tireless. Yet every human, the shield becomes a byword for Americanism, and a constant source of thorough for those gangster forces ever conspiring against society. Now wait for another adventure, the G Extraordinary. Please make sure to subscribe and press the notification bell. Until next time, my patriotic Americans, and happy 4th of July Independence Day celebration.